NDC deepens partnership with LMI Holdings to expand clean energy to industrial zones in Ghana. Now, the health minister has been busy. On the back page, reports suspected cases of meningitis early to hospital. This is the health minister.
True.
And change must reflect in approach to work. Dr. Ali to GMA staff.
Right. So Ghanaian Times, OSP declares Ken Ofori-Atta wanted, takes legal steps to secure his return, and government cancels Grand Independence celebrations to save cost. President on working visit to Germany and Ethiopia maintain momentum on fiscal reforms to build resilient economy. This is the World Bank speaking. And ECG gets 9.7 million Ghana cedi to undertake projects in Western region.
The Daily Guide is back after some sort of self-imposed hiatus.
Good to have them.
It's looking nice. Daily Guide, welcome back to the business. OSP declares Ofori-Atta wanted over SML Cathedral contracts. Again, the two men photographed. Dr. Hamid, 3 others cited in 1.3 billion cedi SP investigation. Now, this one from Ashanti region. Ashanti chief cop transferred to Accra after voting chaos. So the cop Franca Brock was photographed here. And AG closes case in Jachikwesin trial. That's on page 6. On the back page, I like the headline. It's a question. Is Police death the catalyst for change in Ghana football?
Good question.
Ernest Bewa asks.
I bring you to the Chronicle this morning. Ofori-Atta disappears from OSP's radar. Small boy Ejapin declares him wanted. Mahama hasn't directed me to drop any case. This is the AG speaking. And Max Obuache, elected Council of State member at 32.
The Daybreak has Senna ignores transfer order, attends JIC meeting on Tuesday. This is Harriet Senna Sian Boateng. I think some papers have been writing about her for quite a while now. In other headlines, Hamid laughs off UPPF embezzlement probe by special prosecutor. Customs officers want Ayorogo out, and General Tanya Kuluno takes office as GPHA boss.
The Inquisitor, from all-powerful to fugitive, OSP declares Ofori-Atta wanted as house raid was staged to divert attention. Inquisitor says 2025 Independence Day celebration to be held only at Jubilee House to cut cost. Ayorogo must go. Customs officers demand. That story is here as well. All post-election recruitments were rushed. Kwache Ofosu asserts no legal issues with AG's case withdrawal. Titus Sorry is speaking.
The overseer leads with finance minister to present 2025 budget on March 10. Photo of Dr. Cassiel Atofosen. Also, Mahama appoints Edmond Combat as deputy MD of TOR. And Mahama orders probe International Service Authority ghost name scandal. So the stories are set. In other stories, Hollister Dua to me finally hands over to James Ajini Boateng as SICMD. So this photo shows a happy pair. There's handover notes.
So the key too has been handed over.
They've even smoked the peace pipe. So everything is done.
Nice.
Meanwhile, Haruna Idrisu directs inclusion of ethics and patriotism in preschool curriculum. I kind of like this.
I take you online quickly. ChannelOneNews.com. Ofori-Atta is a suspect, not a person of interest. OSP. EC to rerun Council of State elections in Northeast and Ashanti regions. Impresso MP slams OSP for declaring Ofori-Atta a fugitive. Attorney General clarifies decision to end prosecutions. And Atufosin was clearly a victim of political witch hunt. This is Dominic Ayine as well. DCOP Tay Kujo replaces Franca Brokwa as Ashanti Regional Police Commander. Hollister Diayentume is here as well. She's handed over to Ajeni Boateng. CityNewsroom.com. Prosecute Ofori-Atta if there is sufficient evidence. Impresso MP Nitiwo accuses government of using military to track his movements. Stop confusing OSP's mandate with police. Samida Akonto Mensha South NP. Kisia Jabin's management style must be scrutinized. This is Pebu to the OSP, and the World Bank is cautioning Ghana against premature return to the international market. Loads of other comments. Stories. Mahama not a clearing agent. I am responsible for all dropped cases. Ayene here. Major online quickly.
Yes, please.
Rushing back to capital market could be costly. World Bank wants that story is here as well. Martin Pebu demands answers from special prosecutor over case delays. service personnel to receive full arrears starting today. Acting Director Phyllis Jemfi. CCTV images of alleged raid in Kenoforiata's home emerge. ECG's finances are here, revenue underreporting and more. Mr. Oforiata, the OSP did not raid your house. Okay, this is here. 100,000 eggs stolen from one U.S. grocer as bird flu drives up prices.
It's not a joke. Oh. They are stealing wawulo. It's crazy, man. Yes.
Now, suspect in JB Dankwa Edu murder weeps, says he's tired of attending court. I discontinued Atufoson's case because he was a victim of political witch hunt. If I take you elsewhere to the BBC, Trump offers Putin a way back in from the cold. Ukraine war talks start now, Trump says after Putin call. And on a power trip, or obviously brilliant, Americans weigh Max's influence. Elon Musk, ex-Google boss, fears AI could be used by terrorists. And then DeepSeek moved me to tears. How young Chinese find therapy in AI. CNN, is Europe-American century over? Trump's Gaza rival vision needed an Arab reality check. This royal visit encouraged. And here's what federal judges could do if they are ignored by the Trump administration.
So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to give you like 2 or 3 stories summarizing the situation with the former finance minister.
Yes, please.
So the graphics version basically has everything. Ex-MPA boss, 8 others, an investigation, former finance minister wanted. And if you haven't heard this yet, so the Office of the Special Prosecutor has declared finance minister Ken Oforiata wanted. Now, Mr. Oforiata is currently outside the country and has been mentioned as a suspect in some corruption and corruption-related cases, including the National Cathedral and the SML contract. Now, the OSP has also commenced investigations against the former CEO of MPA, Dr. Mustafa Hamid, and 3 others over the alleged embezzlement of 1.3 million cedis from the United Petroleum Pricing Fund at the MPA. All right, then some other names are mentioned here. The rest is just reactions. So the reason I sort of use this angle is there are so many stories here. The other point though was that prior to this press conference by the OSP, the former finance minister's house was raided by some people who were wearing military uniform. Now the OSP has denied that they were involved in this and actually described this as staged. This matter was debated in Parliament yesterday, and the majority leader said identify the leader of the people who raided the house as Mr. Jakba, former soldier who was one of the people being charged in the case of the ambulance matter. And there were Mr. Jakba and some people in military uniform were the ones who raided the house. So clearly OSP doesn't know or says they don't know anything about the raid. So there was a big debate about whether that's the best way to go. For example, the former defense minister Dominic Nitiwo, he said this is not a democracy we asked for. He accused government of using military to track his own movements. And he was speaking on the floor yesterday. He disclosed that armed military personnel had been trailing his movement in recent times, raising questions about the state of democracy in Ghana. Then John Jinapo, the current Minister of Energy, also claimed that in 2017, soldiers entered his house, harassed him, took his phone and whatever. So there's a lot of training of accusations. So those are basically the issues around. Then in terms of interviews on this, you had, for example, MP from Insha South, Bafo Ewua, speaking and saying that the OSP is confusing is mandate and that they do not have more powers than the police. He says OSP's declaration of Oforiata as wanted is a mere public show. And then the director of strategy for the OSP and director of communications, Samida Aku, came on the show and also tried to clarify the mandate of the OSP and defended the actions up till now. So this is where we are with that story. And let's go somewhere else.
Well, Kisia Dabing also spoke.
He's the OSP himself.
No, apologies. Martin Kwebu also spoke on that. And he's saying the management style of the OSP must be scrutinized. He's called on the special prosecutor to account for his handling of cases raising concerns over delays in prosecuting high-profile corruption investigations. So whereas the OSP is being accused of his handling of some of the issues, Pebu actually is not excited about the pace of work. But Mahama hasn't directed me to drop any case. This is the AG defending his decision. Story by Jennifer Ambule in the Chronicle. Attorney General and Minister for Justice Dr. Dominic Akotinga Ayene there, has categorically dismissed claims that President John Dramani Mahama influenced his decision to discontinue certain criminal prosecutions. Now, addressing a news conference in Accra, Dr. Ayina stated unequivocally that all decisions regarding nollie prosequi and charge withdrawals were made independently based on legal merit and constitutional principles. So he gave a press conference yesterday where he justified case by case why he thought that the cases lacked merit.
So again, to summarize that, he gave, I can say, 3.5 reasons for his decision. Number one, he says there were ethical and professional considerations because in some of the cases like the Atufosin and the Ofosu-Ampofo case, he was directly involved as lawyer. So ethically, and he believed that those cases were not properly grounded. So as AG, he cannot continue those cases. Number two, he says some of the cases, the charges were defective. So for example, in the Collins Dauda and the Saglemi housing case, he felt that was the case. Then he says for a number of the cases, there was insufficient evidence. So he started a Opuni case in the Little Bit Fertilizer, and he also said that there were also issues around the conduct of some judges in the cases. He, for example, took issue with Justice Honyanuga in the Opuni case. So those are the reasons he gave. Again, this has come up. There's a lot of people analyzing whether he did the right thing or not, whether he should have spoken much earlier. Be that as it may, that's the second major story. I suppose the third big story is the president's
cancellation of Grand Independence celebrations to save costs. Stories on page 12 of the Ghanaian Times. Julius Yao Petechi is writing that the government has announced the cancellation of what it called the Grand Observation of Ghana's Independence Anniversary celebration. Instead, a modest celebration will be held at the Jubilee House to commemorate the anniversary. The Minister of State in charge of Government Communication, Felix Kwasi Ofosu, told the press in Accra yesterday on the theme Reflect, Review, Reset. The minister said it was in line with President John Dramani Mahama government's agenda to reset all spheres of governance. Now, he tells us that the previous, for example, the celebration held in the Volta Regional Capital Hall in 2023 cost the taxpayer a staggering 15 million Ghana cedis. So
this is the point. There's a benefit for sending the independence celebrations outside
to the economies capital of those regions.
It helps those economies, and it also unites the country in a different way. But we are in different times where we need to cut our costs. So I think that they are clearly right, and they've also removed the excesses, unnecessary march past, and all those things removed. And if you say you are broke, you need to act like it. So I think this is a great decision. Now, the other story, arguably the fourth, Ashanti chief cop transferred to Accra after voting chaos. So we saw some very disturbing scenes from the Ashanti region during the voting for the people to represent Council of State. Now, the government has acted quite swiftly in this. So I'll use the Daily Guys version here. In a significant development within the Ghana Police Service, this DCOP of police, Frank Abrokwa, Ashanti Regional Police Commander, has been transferred to the police headquarters in Accra. This move comes in the wake of violent disruption of the recent Council of State election in Kumasi, triggering questions about the quality of policing during the exercise. Now, the regional police chief was said to be present during the exercise. Sources suggest DCOP Abrokwa's transfer is directly linked to his handling of the chaotic situation in the region. Now, we are told, I don't know if the Daily Guide has this, but on our website and other websites, we're actually told that a new police chief has been sent to the region to replace DCOP Abrokwa. So clearly, he's been... So it's called Teikujo. DCOP Emmanuel Teikujo has taken over as the new Ashanti Regional Police Commander. Until his appointment, he was the Central North Region Police Commander. So,
that's an interesting development there. Now, Holista Dia Yentumi hands over SIC leadership to Ajenim Boateng. There's a photograph. The two of them are exchanging pleasantries. She's smiling. And the story says that Holista Dia Yentumi, Managing Director of SIC Insurance PLC, has officially handed over leadership to her successor, James Ajenim Boateng, at a ceremony held at the company's head office in Accra. She highlighted SIC Insurance PLC's strong financial performance in 2024, reporting a revenue of 513 million Ghana cedis, a 37.48% increase from 373 million Ghana cedis recorded the previous year. This is getting all the mileage is getting as a result of the background.
There are two lessons there for me. The story initially started in the media because of the claim by the incoming MD that the place was locked. So it was a big story.
Yeah.
Then there was also a court matter where the lady who's the outgoing had gone to court.
Yeah.
So I think that sometimes the media and the courts are not the best places to resolve issues.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to just sit like adults behind the scenes
and address issues.
But at the end of the day, we all want the country to progress.
True.
So it's not everything that you need to shout about.
True.
Let's do economy. The finance minister is to present his budget, his first budget, on 10th March. Now, this is a significant date because it puts pressure on a lot of things. You know that there's a national economic forum that's supposed to happen before the budget.
True.
The IMF team is also meeting government. So all of them have a compressed timetable to finish everything they are doing before 10th March. And today is 13th February. So let me use the overseer's version. It's a news desk report. Finance Minister to present budget 2025 budget on March 10. And basically that's what the story says. Now, earlier this year, Parliament approved an expenditure in advance of appropriation, allocating 68.1 billion cedis for the administration to manage government operations from January to March. So if they don't read the budget, we won't have anything from March. This measure was necessary to maintain government spending in the absence of a full year budget. The Finance Ministry has already issued broad guidelines to various ministries outlining spending targets and program inputs for the 2025 budget.
Meanwhile, the World Bank is cautioning that rushing back to the capital markets could be costly. Reading from my journal line now, World Bank Country Director for Ghana, Liberia and Sierra Leone, Robert Taliesio, has cautioned Ghana against making a premature return to international capital markets, warning that such a move could undermine the country's recent economic recovery. Now, you're speaking at the launch of the World Bank's latest Public Finance Review report titled Building the Foundations for a Resilient and Equitable Fiscal Policy. Now, if you go down a bit, his warnings follow Ghana's unsuccessful restructuring of both domestic and external debts, which secured significant relief.
Successful or unsuccessful? I think it's successful.
Ghana's successful restructuring.
If it wasn't successful, we would not be here. Like by now, even your salary will not come. My brother.
Which secured significant relief and a $3 billion IMF extended credit facility program. So that's the IMF cautioning the handlers of the economy.
So this one is quasi-governance, quasi-economy story. President orders investigation into National Service Authority ghost name scandal.
Right.
I'm using the GNS version, a story by Idi Yire. President John Mahama has ordered the National Investigations Bureau to conduct immediate investigations into the operations of the National Service Authority under the previous administration. Now, this follows the discovery of up to 81,885 suspected ghost names.
Jesus.
If they unleash this number of ghosts into your country.
Ghost.
Charlie, almost 82,000 suspected ghost names on the payroll. Now, in a statement issued by the president spokesperson, Felix Kwati-Ofosu, and copied to GNA, he said that ghost names were detected following a head count of active national service personnel at the behest of the Ministry of Finance as a prerequisite for the clearance of allowance dating back to August 2024. It said the Ministry of Finance had, upon the completion of the head count, released an amount of 226 million cedis, covering allowance payments for some 98,000 actual service personnel. So now this is what they are saying. The names presented were 180,000.
Yeah.
When they did the head count, there were only 98,000 national service personnel, which means that 81,000 of those names were people who didn't exist.
Wow. So where was the money going?
That is what the NIB is going to find.
My God.
We wish them well in that finding.
We are interested in this one.
I tell you.
When I provide full list of frequency authorizations issued, renewed within the last 60 days. Communications Minister directs acting NCA boss. So some review is going to happen there. The details are on page 15 of the Ghanaian Times. But there's a story of interest that will interest the brotherhood. Intake of gobe. Others can prevent heart diseases. This is a nutritionist speaking.
Well, since you're on health, let me give you one health, then you can link this.
Yes.
So if you go to the back page of the graphic, so it looks like this month everybody has hit the ground running.
I'm telling you.
So the Kwabena Minta Akando was sworn in, I think, last week. He's already in the northern region. The Upper West region, wearing a mask.
Thank you.
The health minister has asked Ghanaians not to be alarmed by the high number of recorded suspected cases of meningitis in the region, in the Upper West region. He said it was better for people to report early to hospital to be tested than to stay home and report late.
Yeah.
Now, he was there with the acting DG of the Ghana Health Service, Professor Samuel Kaba Korea. He said the contributory factors to the high mortality rate was the financial constraint preventing people from seeking medical treatment. So he's on a working visit, and he has directed that people with symptoms of meningitis be treated free of charge. This is very important. Why? Because the financial gap, or not financial gap, like the financial barrier.
Yeah.
So people don't have money.
Yeah.
So they have symptoms. They don't want to go to hospital.
Show up because
So he's saying anybody who goes to, I don't know what it means, any hospital.
If you have symptoms, show up and be treated for free.
And as part of interventions to stem the spread of the disease, he said the government had deployed a rapid response team from Accra to assist the regional health staff in dealing with the issue. Now talk to me about the preventing heart disease matter.
So we are told nutritionists are advising Ghanaians to eat more beans-based meals, including the popular local dish gari and beans, also known as gobe or yoke gari. Yeah, to prevent heart disease. They said incidences of obesity and cancer could be minimized with the regular intake of beans meals. At the program in Accra to mark the World Pause, that's Beans Day on Monday, Mr. Wise Chukudi Lecha, nutritionist and dietitian, who spoke on the topic beans, the superfood for healthy living and healthy farmlands, admonished Ghanaians to include beans in their diet. So if you see me eating beans, it's not for economic reasons.
Now, even if it's for economic reasons. Now, let me give you a quick one. Minister of Education, Haruna Idrisu, has directed the Ghana Book Development Council to integrate integrity and ethics into early childhood education.
Very important.
As part of effort to promote patriotism. According to him, the government priority is to instill these values from an early stage to shape morally responsible citizens. And he made this statement during his tour of agencies and institutions under the ministry. So he started on Wednesday, and he visited GTech, TVET, GetFund, and other major agencies responsible for overseeing education policies for the government. So it looks like almost all the ministers
are hitting the grounds running.
What I want us to do is to pay attention to what they are saying, because it sets the tone for the kind of leadership. Yeah. For example, the staff of Ghana Maritime Authority have been admonished to let competence and integrity shine through their operations. Why? The new DG, Dr. Kamaldeen Ali, said this at his maiden meeting with staff at the authority. This is what I would say. A lot of times when these new guys come, they say all the right things.
Yeah.
Then they relax, and then the bad guys come and tell them, Honorable, this is how we can make money, or this is how we can. So they should back all these nice calls with action. Lead by example. Don't just say nice things. Let people know you not take bribes. Let people know you not tolerate laziness. And that if anybody is doing anti-government, anti-Ghana, anti-patriotism things, you will deal with them. Otherwise, after 2 years, Charlie, we will come back to
Well, Trump offers Putin a way back in from the cold. A single phone call will not magically end the war in Ukraine. Talks may not get underway. Exactly when and how they will conclude isn't clear. But Vladimir Putin has already scored something of a diplomatic victory simply by holding this telephone conversation. After all, 3 years ago, he was out in the political wilderness. The details are on the BBC, telling you how Trump is making an offer to Putin.
And in the US, some people are stealing 100,000 eggs from a grocery shop because bird flu has driven prices up. So when you get an egg to eat with your gari and beans,
you thank God for
thank the Lord and eat it carefully.
That'll be all.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation. The City Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
Tune into the King of Sounds and Blues.
Now, the MTN Ghana Foundation is organizing its annual blood donation exercise